Welcome back to the Normal Baseball 2023 Will Be Team Projection Series. Today we got the Cleveland Guardians. Let's get into it. What's going on? Welcome back to the Normal Baseball 2023 Will Be Series, our team projections for the upcoming season. Today we got the Cleveland Guardians. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And we're ready to talk about your favorite team from Cleveland in this episode.
True.
So let's do it. The Guardians last season went 92-70, won the AL Central, won the AL Central, surprised a lot of people, seemingly coming out of nowhere. Their young guys kind of shined this season. 17 rookies last season played for them. They beat the Rays in the Wild Card Series in the playoffs, and then lost to the Yankees in the ALDS in 5 games. Let's talk about them. So, we did power rankings for every major league team this season for the upcoming year, and we rated every team based on 7 categories. We rated them 1 to 10. Lineup, bench, defense, rotation, bullpen, coaching, and energy were the 7 different categories. We totaled up the scores and we put them in a power rank. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Do we want to start with their lineup?
Of course, let's start.
So, the Cleveland Guardians lineup. We gave their lineup an 8.3 out of 10. Very high on the rate.
We gave them a 7.9 out of 10.
My bad. I read the wrong one. A lot of the same colors in this area. Okay. Yeah. 7.9 out of 10. My apologies. We gave them a 7.9 out of 10. High ranking for this lineup. Arguably too low, but we'll talk about that in a second. We have Steven Kwan in left field, Ahmed Rosario at short, Jose Ramirez at third base, Josh Bell DHing, Josh Naylor at first base, Andres Jimenez at second base, Oscar Gonzalez in right field, SpongeBob, Mike Zunino catching, and in center field we have Miles Straw. Very fun team. Last season, like I said, surprised a lot of people, kind of snuck up on the rest of the AL Central. And when the Twins and White Sox, the 2 teams projected to be first and second in that division, when they underperformed, the Guardians outperformed. Stepped up, obviously winning 92 games. I don't know if anyone really had that going into last season, but this season we'll be noticing that more. They're not going to be sneaking up on the division. This lineup is really, really good. The addition of Josh Bell, who they got in free agency this year, is huge. I think Josh Bell, yes, he had a bad tenure on the Padres. Not even tenure. He had a bad half of the season on the Padres, but obviously we all know that his stats on the why am I blanking? His stats on the Nationals were really good. In the first half of last year, he almost batted 300, which is very impressive for a guy like Josh Bell. They also picked up Mike Zunino, who didn't play too much last season, but the season before that was an all-star. He had a very good year that year. We'll see if he can get back to that. Do you want to kind of highlight some of these parts of this lineup, Lewis, or do you want me to?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously we could talk first and foremost about their big fish free agent, Josh Bell, returning to the Cleveland Guardians organization after being a prospect for them plenty of years ago. He's definitely the thing that makes this lineup a bigger threat than last season. Obviously, they have guys like Steven Kwan, Ahmed Rosario, and Jose Ramirez all batting before him, who we know them to be guys who can get on any which way possible, especially J-Ram, one of the best in the game, one of the best third basemen in baseball, without a shadow of a doubt. He's just going to be great, especially now that he's protected by Josh Bell. Josh Naylor, underrated in the sense of he can perform very well, definitely gets under players and fans' skin, which is absolutely electric, super fun to watch. Andres Jimenez, part of the Francisco Lindor trade a couple of years back. He's looked great at second base, really improved this last season. Hopefully he can keep going up and up. Oscar Gonzalez came out of nowhere and became an instant fan favorite, not just in Cleveland, but in all of MLB. I mean, the playoffs where he hit the walk-off homer to send them into the ALDS was one of a kind, in all honesty.
Hit a walk-off against the Yankees in the ALDS.
Hit a walk-off against the Yankees, too. And Miles Straw, the little scrappy guy who Yankee fans might not like, but guess what? He's going to be a pretty good 9-hole hitter.
What does that have to do with anything?
He's going to be a pretty good 9-hole hitter that will definitely be able to flip the lineup more than you might expect. So that's how I look at this lineup. I genuinely think that this lineup is going to do a lot better than last season. I'll just say it.
I mean, I would agree. Obviously, some concerns are how sophomore seasons will go, because you got guys like Steven Kwan and Oscar Gonzalez in this lineup who, yes, played amazing last season. I mean, Steven Kwan very well without the month of May could have batted .320 last season.
For sure.
And Oscar Gonzalez is a guy who also almost batted .300 and also brought power, which is something that's very, very valuable. With the nickname SpongeBob, you got to be doing big things, and he is certainly doing big things. You kind of want to see how those guys can perform in their second year, see if they can keep it up, because that's what really matters. Yes, you can play this good in your first rookie year, create a lot of noise, but at the end of the day, you didn't win the World Series, and you need to improve this season, or even play the same, because playing the same is still incredible. You talked about Andres Gimenez. Yes, a guy they got in the Lindor trade they got from the Mets, has improved so much. He batted almost .300 last season after batting about .240 in his career before that. So I'm really excited to see what he does following up his very good year. And then, like you said, you got a guy like Josh Bell who just kind of fits in this lineup. He's the power bat, even though this lineup doesn't have too many of those. Jose Ramirez is kind of the glue for this team. He is the staple. He is going to be there. He's been there for the last 10 years. We know what we're getting out of him. We're going to get a 30 home run, 30 to 40 double season. We're going to get steals. We're going to get everything from Jose Ramirez. I think you're right. This lineup is really, really good. The one thing I would say is towards the bottom of the lineup, you got two guys in Mike Zunino and Miles Straw, who are both known to not be the best with the bat. Mm-hmm. Miles Straw had a very bad year at the plate last year. It's very up or down whether he is going to show up with the bat this season, and I think that's really important, whether he does or not. And then as far as Mike Zunino, I think we're just going to see power from him. He's a catcher. He's there to catch. He's one of those guys. He'll get on base a little bit. But that's my thoughts on this lineup. I definitely think they have the opportunity to outperform last season if everything goes right again.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, Mike Zunino, I think, is, without a shadow of a doubt, the biggest weak spot of this team's lineup, which says a lot because Mike Zunino can provide some serious power, especially batting in the 8-hole. Kind of wish, though, that they maybe got like a Gabriel Moreno from the Blue Jays, or they went out and signed somebody like Gary Sanchez, who's still out there in free agency of the time of this recording.
Arguably the same player as Mike Zunino.
I mean, just kind of wish that they had an improvement at catcher, but maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit.
That's definitely an improvement. Mike Zunino is most definitely an improvement from Roberto Perez, who they had last year. I don't think they downgraded in the catcher spot. I mean, Mike Zunino in 2021, in 109 games, hit 33 home runs. Roberto Perez is not over here hitting 33 home runs. Granted, he only played 36 games last season, so we don't really know what he's going to do this season, but having a guy that has hit 33 home runs in a season, and even 20, 25 multiple times, definitely an improvement in catcher. I agree there were maybe different moves that they could have made, but I think this was the move that was kind of their best option in terms of money and what they wanted to do as an organization. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I think it's a great lineup.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great lineup.
Moving on to their bench. Their bench we gave a 5.5 out of 10. Not great by any stretch of the imaginations, but their bench also isn't great. Cam Gallagher, who's a non-roster invitee to spring training, they are currently projecting him to get a roster spot. Gabriel Arias, a guy with barely any service time in the majors, but he's a utility kind of guy. Tyler Freeman, another guy with barely any MLB service time, and Will Brennan, who made some noise last year. He was in a couple conversations, but again, not a guy you're going to be seeing like completely blow up this season. You never know, but all these guys, like, you can't really say, yeah, these are amazing bench guys, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It keeps their score low. I definitely wish that they had, maybe one, like, utility MLB level, like, fully ready to go guy. Obviously, they do have 4 here, but they're not of caliber of the rest of their lineup, which is what holds their rating back, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. That's all I really have to say about their bench. I don't really, I've said my piece. It's kind of just, we both said our piece, so we'll just move right on. Next up, we have their defense, which we gave an 8.4 out of 10. We actually gave it a very high rating. Fairly, I guess. Stephen Kwan is a very good defender. Miles Straw is an excellent defender in center field. Oscar Gonzalez can decently field from what we've seen from him so far. You got Andres Jimenez and Ahmed Rosario up the middle, who are 2 pretty good defenders as well.
It's a great 1-2 up the middle.
Yeah. And Jose Ramirez obviously is going to be there. He's going to defend pretty, not anything crazy, nothing compared to, the guys like Nolan Arenado and Matt Chapman and Manny Machado, but he's still solid on defense. So overall, it's a very good defensive team.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to seeing their DRS at the end of the season.
Me too. That's what I'm going to be watching all season. That's what I'm going to be keeping my eye out for, their DRS. Moving right along here, their rotation. We gave their rotation a 7.4 out of 10. Their rotation is looking like Shane Bieber, Tristan McKendry. Wow, I'm so sorry. Wow. Let me try that again. Their rotation is looking like Shane Bieber, Tristan McKenzie, Cal Quantrill, Aaron Savali, and Zach Plesac. It's a good rotation, but I feel like the bottom 2, Aaron Savali and Zach Plesac, it's a toss-up. I want to see how they're going to do this season because there's a good chance of it going either way, them performing bad and them performing good. Cal Quantrill, I think, I'm confident Cal Quantrill will perform good this upcoming year. I'm more worried about the bottom 2, Aaron Savali and Zach Plesac down there. They haven't quite performed as well as maybe people have wanted them to. Tristan McKenzie and Shane Bieber are going to be there. They're going to have incredible seasons. I can almost guarantee that. Last season, both of them had really good and, dare I say, underrated years. Shane Bieber pitched 31 games with a 2.88 ERA, had pitched 200 innings. Tristan McKenzie had just below a 3 ERA, 2.96 in also 30 games, 31 games. Just overall, those 2 guys are going to be great. I'm more worried about the bottom half of the rotation.
Yeah, I can see the concern there, but again, just to state again what you already said, the top 3, I think, is just so solid, especially if they do have another run of where they run away with the AL Central. You're talking about basically only these 3 guys starting for the most part, unless something crazy does happen. And even then, I still think guys like Zach Plesac and Aaron Savali will be more than serviceable, certainly will help them get through the season, and you never know, maybe we'll see them call somebody up, or we'll see them make a trade for someone who's still on a rookie deal that can bolster their rotation, but as of right now, their rotation looks fine, and I'm not worried about it.
I guess that's fair. There you go. I would like to say their rotation is all righties, so there's absolutely no variation in their rotation, which could be an issue at some point in this season.
We'll see.
Another thing that I might find as an issue this season that I just want to talk about briefly is the fact that they are playing less games against the AL Central, which was the worst division in baseball last year.
Easily.
So I'm interested to see if them playing every team, them playing maybe a little bit more difficult of a schedule this season, is going to have an effect on their record, because yes, they were racking up a lot of wins against the teams in the AL Central who were very underperforming last season, especially the teams that were supposed to be good in the White Sox and the Twins. So I am a little concerned that that's going to make their win count go down a little bit and make them a little worse this year, if I do say so myself.
I understand where you're coming from. I do think, though, that I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate. I'm going to not argue with you. I'm going to just tell you the other side of that. I think this team is good enough that it doesn't really matter who they play. They're still going to play a great brand of baseball, and I'm looking forward to... I want to see them, at bare minimum, replicate their 92-70. And yes, even though they are playing less games against the Central, I still think they can replicate it. I'm going to hold out hope for them, especially with adding a power bat like Josh Bell, getting a full year of their rookies, and having the starting pitching that they have. I'm still going to say that they do very well this season.
Okay, their over-under is at 87.5. What do you think they'll go?
Over. That's an easy over.
I don't think it's an easy over.
87's too low.
I don't think it's an easy over. I think it's a very, well, I guess you're taking the difficult schedule thing a little less than I am. I think it will be a little bit, it's going to be close, I'd say. I think they might go over, but not by much. 88, 89, but it's going to be around that number probably. We want to talk about their bullpen just to finish out the actual team. Their bullpen, we gave them a 7.4 out of 10. Their bullpen is extremely good. Emmanuel Clase, James Karinchak, Trevor Stephan, Nick Sandlin, Enel De Los Santos, Eli Morgan, and those are kind of the bigger names in this bullpen. My bad. It's a very good bullpen. Emmanuel Clase is lights out. He is arguably the best reliever in baseball right now. The man is unhittable.
Yeah, Emmanuel Clase looks great. Obviously, being the backup to James Karinchak. Well, not backup, but being the closer to James Karinchak, who is another very, very good arm out of the pen. Well, he comes in after. He's the backup.
I guess.
Definitely, though, James Karinchak and Emmanuel Clase is one of the better 1-2 punches, which is very extremely underrated 1-2 punch at that. I still think to this day the Texas Rangers organization is kicking themselves for trading away Emmanuel Clase. However, the Guardians get to reap all the benefits of it and have one of the more solid 1-2s out of the bullpen in the league, which not many people are willing to talk about.
Yeah, you're right. I think the only Karinchak is notoriously a pitcher that takes a very long time on the mound. And as we know with the new pitch clock rules, Karinchak is already, we've seen clips of him kind of struggling with it. So I'm interested to see if he can kind of adapt, because on the mound, when you talk jittery on the mound, he is the definition of that. Before every pitch, he kind of throws the ball up 40 different times. He does 10 million different things on the mound before he actually throws the pitch. So he's going to have to speed up his rhythm, which I'm interested to see if that affects him in a negative way.
Well, he finds the workaround. I've seen it a little bit in spring training of pitchers finding the workarounds to the pitch clock. I definitely think that James Karinchak will be one of those guys who works around it and definitely will get a few warnings from the umpires throughout the year.
Yeah, I think he will find a workaround. I'm not going to say he's not going to. But I think it'll be very difficult, and I think it'll take a lot more time, because this guy just takes so long on every single pitch. It's not like he's doing it, it just seems like it's second nature. It's not like he can just easily stop. And we've seen that already in spring training so far, so.
For sure. It'll be interesting to see how he adjusts come the regular season. Obviously, in spring training, a little bit too small of a sample size, and he still needs to get used to the rule. But I think he'll eventually figure it out. He is a big leader, just like everybody else here. So I'm not too worried about it.
I think it's easier to say that he'll just figure it out. I think you do have to at some point be a little realistic and say well, yes, obviously he will figure it out. He's going to be forced to, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as you're making it sound. You're just making it sound oh yeah, he's just going to throw quicker after every pitch.
All right, well, we'll find out what he does.
Okay. Yeah. So that's their bullpen. I just want to emphasize how good Class A is. Just absolutely incredible. I just need to emphasize that.
And to think he's the
Cutter
youngest.
is just amazing. Every pitch he has is just
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And to think that he's the youngest in this bullpen is even crazier, considering that he is their high leverage guy. It's the one that they turn to when they need an out. He's the one that they trust the most. Just absolutely amazing show that Emmanuel Clase puts on every time he comes into a game.
Yeah, and you look at the rest of this bullpen. Trevor Stefan had a great year last year too. 2.69 ERA in 66 games, 63 and 2/3 innings pitched. He had a 1.178 WHIP, and then as well as Sam Hentages. I apologize if I'm saying that name wrong. Also only 25 years old. Had a 2.32 ERA last season in 62 innings and a .968 WHIP. So he's got some nasty stuff as well. Just a lot of really good guys in this bullpen. I think it's a very, very solid bullpen. Up there with the best.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In terms of their coaching, we gave them an 8.8. I mean, Tito is an amazing manager. Their coaches must be pretty good if they're developing these rookies as well as they are.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Stephen Barry Bonds Kwan doesn't just appear out of nowhere one day.
That is true.
So their system is good. They develop guys really well. They can maintain guys really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'll continue to see that. As far as their energy goes, we gave them an 8.7 out of 10. We went pretty high on their energy. Do you want to explain a little bit why?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it in the playoffs especially. This team gets loud, and it gets loud quick, especially when they swept the Rays in the wild card series. Oscar Gonzalez hit that walk-off. That was absolutely amazing. Josh Naylor, the definition of a psychopath, but in a very, very good way. You know, he just likes to yell, scream, and talk his shit, especially to fans in opposing stadiums, as we saw with him in the White Sox last year, which was a lot of fun. Jose Ramirez, although he is sort of a silent assassin, when he gets that big opportunity, he, one, does not shy away from it, and two, he lets you know after he succeeds. Nice.
Go on.
And as for the rest of the lineup, they all just really bring some form of excitement every time they step into the box, every time a ball is hit their way. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch them just build what should be another good season where hopefully they can take the AL Central again.
I agree. And that's why we gave them such a high rating on their energy.
That's without even talking about their pitching.
Yeah, their pitching is so lights out. It's lights out and energetic.
Tristan McKenzie, I mean, if you know him off the field, not personally, but if you just follow him...
I was going to say, do you know him off the field?
No, but if you follow him on social medias and you see how much fun he has and you see what he does as a person, and then you see him lock into games, you like that it personally, it fires me the fuck up. Like, there's no other way for me to put it. Because I know him to be such a very nice guy, kind-hearted. But then when he steps foot on that mound, he looks like the Grim Reaper. He's tall, he's just lanky, and he just absolutely hurls pitches where it just, at points, seems like he's unhittable. It's really impressive. That's the one who I really want to talk about in the starting rotation. And then, of course, you have Emmanuel Clase, who, if you watched the All-Star game last year, he showcased it on national television. He got the save and got fucking excited, man. That was fun.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's their energy. I mean, you kind of emphasized all my main points, especially when you got these young guys. I mean, these young guys playing well. It's always energetic. The guys who you kind of just didn't expect, and especially last season, this team kind of came out of nowhere, and that's always exciting. And of course, their fans are gonna love it when their team is doing that good when not many people expected them to be that good.
Yeah, and I will say that this is one out of 3 teams that we've done so far that genuinely it seems like all the guys are best friends and all rooting for each other, and I think that really brings out each player individually to be energetic, to be fun, and to just go out there and have a great game, and the wins will come.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
I like that. So if you were counting at home, we gave the Guardians a 54.1 out of 70 total points possible, which, like we said, was the 9th best in baseball and the 4th best in the American League. So The Guardians are projected to win 78.5 games this season. Like we said, Lewis thinks it's going to be well over. I think it's going to be close.
Close, but
I'll say over because I think I'll go 88.
okay.
Now, do you want to do a rookie report?
Of course. So as I mentioned earlier, a weak spot on this team as of right now is catcher. However, the 64th ranked prospect in all of baseball for the 2023 season, according to MLB.com, is Bo Naylor, Josh Naylor's brother. Last season, he played both in AA and in AAA, where he had a combined batting average of 263, OPS of 888 with over the course of 118 games. He looked good. He did get called up for a short period of time where he did struggle, but I do think that's just small sample size, not enough adjustment time. Struck out a very healthy amount in the lower levels at 121. However, he is sort of just like his brother. He is a very big power hitter, not too much of a hit for contact guy. Definitely looking forward to seeing him hopefully make a strong case to start a good amount of games down the stretch at the catcher position, because I think that he has the potential to be another one of those good young rookies for the Cleveland Guardians that just overperforms what we expect.
Yeah, if there's any team that rookie like this is just gonna like come up and be electric and just play their absolute heart out, it's gonna be on the Guardians, and it's gonna be a guy like Bo Naylor, like you said. Last season, yes, he only played 5 games. Didn't get a hit in any of those 5 games. Only had 8 plate appearances. Mm-hmm. So I think we'll see him more in the majors this season. I could pull up his minor league numbers last season. Right, you didn't read his minor.
I just did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. If you want, I can read them again.
No, I haven't pulled up. It's all good. I think it's promising, and I think, like you said, the rookies have been a theme on this team last year, especially, and I think they will continue to play a big role.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it'll be exciting. Go Guardians.
Go Guardians, indeed. I agree with that. Now the fun part. Who do we think will be their MVP pitcher this season? We're starting with pitcher again.
Pitcher again. All
MVP
right.
pitcher, or they're technically Cy Young for this season.
All right. I'm going to go with Triston McKenzie. Their second starting pitcher could be one by the end of the year, depending on how well he pitches. I'm a really big believer in his. I think he's great. I'm looking forward to it. And let it be known, he's competing for another Rolex this season. So hopefully he outperforms and definitely gets that for Marcus Stroman.
What are the numbers? Do you want to explain that story a little bit?
Yeah,
I feel like that's kind of out of context.
So last season, Triston McKenzie was challenged by Marcus Stroman to pitch, I believe it was over 130 innings with a below 3.6 ERA, and he very clearly hit it pretty well, and Triston McKenzie was gifted a Rolex by Marcus Stroman. And this season, Triston McKenzie went back onto MLB Network, where he showcased the watch that Marcus Stroman bought for him. And after the clip went on to social media, Marcus Stroman went back to Twitter, where he then said to Triston, "Hey, I think it's 160 innings pitched.
I think 190
or 190. It's one of the two. With under a 3.3 ERA for this season, he'll get him another Rolex." I think that's a great motivator and a great way to push such a young, promising prospect like Triston, not even prospect, such a young, promising pitcher like Triston McKenzie to do really, really well. And I don't even think that he needs that as motivation. I think that he's great, but it's definitely an added incentive for him.
Yeah, I have the numbers here. 190 innings with a 3.3 or less ERA. Yep. So, yeah. My MVP pitcher, I am going to veer a little bit. I'm going to have to do Emmanuel Clase. Mm-hmm. Lights out reliever. Probably will win AL reliever of the year. The Mariano Rivera reliever of the year, I believe it's called.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm going with Emmanuel Clase just because he lights out stuff. Yeah. He sometimes unhittable. Definitely like him. Yep. I think if you get those guys in with a lead, they are maintaining that lead.
For sure.
They are keeping the score at whatever it is in that game. So, I'm going with Emmanuel Clase. Who do you think their MVP hitter is going to be?
This is where it gets difficult. However, I think it's going to go to Stephen Barry Bonds-Quan. And not so much of because of the bat that he is. Obviously, there might be better bats. However, no bat fits better in the leadoff position than Stephen Kwan's. I genuinely think we're going to see one of the best sophomore campaigns we've seen in recent baseball history out of him, especially if he's going to bat leadoff all season.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go with, like you said, this is tough. There's a lot of guys to choose from.
Mm-hmm. There's no wrong answer.
I'm going to go with Jose Ramirez. It's
Yeah.
hard not to. The guy is just a staple. He's there every year being an absolute stud. I think he'll continue to do that.
But let's clap it up for the whole Guardians lineup in general. It just looks great.
Incredible. Yeah. So now, the point in the episode where, the name of the episode comes in. I'm going to say the 2023 Guardians will be, and you will tell me what place in the AL Central the Guardians will be in this season. Lewis, the 2023 Cleveland Guardians will be in...
First place.
First
in the
place
AL Central.
in the AL Central. I'm going to agree with you. I'll also say first place. I think they follow up their performance. And yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Are
And
you?
if I'm not mistaken, that's our first full division done.
It is the AL Central, which
exciting.
is a bad sign, kind of. That kind of proves the point that they were the worst division in baseball last year, and they might be again this year. So we'll
Go
see.
Guardians, baby.
Go Guardians! I agree. I got my Emmanuel Clase jersey on right now.
I'm
Go
wearing
Guardians.
red. Go Guardians.
Oh God, yeah, nice. Go Guardians! Thank you guys for watching, listening, viewing, commenting, subscribing. Do all that. That helps us out a lot, and we appreciate you very, very much if you're still watching or listening. And thank you guys for supporting. We will see you guys in the next Will Be. Peace.